Hey guys, it's Brittany with Find Your Fears Coaching, and I am going to bring to you part 3 of the Mindset Move series. And so I wanted to dig in a little bit where we left off yesterday in terms of your wants, because I think what I found with a lot of people is that they start to establish a list of wants, but realistically it is based on some don't wants. Okay, so essentially what we have going on here is you establish some things that you think that you want, but realistically they're coming from a place of things you don't actually want in your life. Okay, and knowing where your wants stem from are going to help you so much in establishing getting what you want, essentially. So I just have a couple tips today. I promise to keep this one short and sweet, but I have a little bit of a challenge for you as well. So I hope you get out a pen and paper and take a little bit of notes. I think that the exercise I want to have you do today is going to help you so much. So, I mean, here's where this idea came from, and I will provide an example of kind of where my what my list that I'm going to challenge you guys to make looks like. But essentially, we have been considering moving to Kalamazoo again and deciding whether or not we want to rent or we want to buy. And I've realized that our desire to buy is not actually because we really want to buy. It's because we don't want to rent anymore. And once I identified this behavior of not wanting to rent, it helped me understand the reason that we are not really finding any houses to buy in the area that we want to live in either, because there's so much negativity that is surrounded by that. And I see this a lot of times with my clients. They will want to get fit, they want to get healthy, they sign up to be a client of mine, and then realistically things just don't work out the way they want. And they're like, oh, but I'm doing everything I should be. But is your desire to get fit and healthy because you want to, have a long life, be able to play with your children, do those kinds of things? Or is your desire to be fit and healthy because you just don't want to be fat? Now, those things, when you're coming from a place of I just don't want to be fat, or I just don't want to rent anymore, there's a ton of negativity that's going on inside your brain. You're vibing on negative, and that doesn't help when you're trying to get things you want in your life. Okay, so if it's not coming from the right place, it doesn't matter. If you want to win $1 million and you are just thinking about the want and thinking about that money, if you want that $1,000 or $1 million because you don't want to get evicted, or you don't want to lose your car, or you don't want your lights to get shut off, that's the thought that's going in your mind. Those are really the underlying vibe. If your want comes out of fear of something else, it doesn't matter how many positive vibes you try to put out in the world, it's not going to get you what you want. Okay, so here's the challenge for you. Make a list of your want and what the don't want would be that's attached to that. Because if we're going to be real, no matter what situation you think of, why you think you want something, there is a negative, things that will be associated with that want. So, like, I want to have a new home. I just don't want to rent anymore. And then finally, where is the emotion coming from? Like, where are you feeling your heartstrings being tugged at? Like a want. I want to have a new car. The don't want be like, I don't want my car to break down, right? Like, so where are you coming from? Like, where do you feel that emotion coming from? Is it when you say you want a new car, where you can imagine having an amazing vehicle that is reliable and safe for your family? Or is it this fear that your car's going to break down? Because if that's where it's coming from, you're going to have a car that breaks down. I hope you can kind of get the idea of what I'm saying. So essentially, like I mentioned, every want has a don't want that can be associated with it. But the important thing for you is to develop and determine where the emotion regarding that is coming from. And for me, there's a couple of things that I realize, no, that's coming from a don't want. I can put a positive light on it. I can, remove the not out of there. But ultimately, I'm still coming at this from a place of negativity and not a place of, encouraged positive vibes. So when you look at this list, I encourage you to seriously sit down and write down a list and to determine where your wants are stemming from. Because once you do that, I think you'll be able to eliminate a lot of those negative vibes that you may be sending out about something. I know I had mentioned that yesterday in the wants video about kind of listing out your wants. You need to, sit down and really feel the emotions and the positivity that's going to go into establishing what you want out of life. So I know it can seem a little bit overwhelming, but I promise you that if you can determine what you want and what you don't want, you will find that more of what you want starts pouring in, okay? You will find that you will actually be attracting the things that you want instead of, occasionally we'll see, you may see I want to get a new car, which is a huge thing on my dream board right now. I want a new, reliable vehicle without a payment. And ultimately, if I'm just constantly worried that my car that I'm driving now is going to break down, I'm going to have a lot more issues with the car I'm driving now. So instead, I just put out vibes like I'm thankful for this vehicle. I have a lot of positive vibes surrounding my current vehicle, and putting out more positivity for, a nicer new, I really want an SUV. Okay? That's really what it is. I want an SUV. And I currently drive a Malibu, which is not an SUV. So I'm trying to put out those vibes for an SUV, but not because I don't want my car to break down, just because I want an SUV. Okay, that's my vibe. Is I like an SUV or a truck. So when you establish that, you will be able to differentiate between what's going on in your head and what you're actually attracting. So it's my challenge to you to write down that list, establish where where your motivation is coming from, whether it's from a want or the don't want. And essentially, once you do that, I would focus on the things that you want and focus on the things that are eliciting emotion, on the want side of things, versus those things that maybe they're not coming from a very good place. They're coming from the more negative side. Put those on the back burner for a little bit. Let yourself start off with things that are coming from a good place with good intentions, and then revisit those other wants later, and you will have learned some tips and tricks to kind of overcoming that don't want. So that is about all I have for you guys tonight. I really appreciate everyone hopping on, and if you guys have any questions, just like always, make sure you comment below, and I will get back to you, help you establishing this list. Also, if you're not watching this via my blog, I will have a blog up about it that'll kind of have an example for you in terms of that chart. So again, thank you guys for joining, for hopping on, and I am rooting for you for some serious success in determining exactly what you want and what you don't want out of life.